There's something downright terrible and awful happening in crypto right now. It involves the likes of Cathie Wood, Jamie Dimon, and even Donald Trump. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly why 99% of people will lose if they can't get the better of these few simple rules. It's going to be a very short video, but probably one of the most important I've made for a very long time. So hit the like button and let's get into it, shall we? Now, first things first, Cathie Wood, a very well respected within the crypto industry and someone who we feel we can trust because she has a very likable character. And on March the 12th was telling us that Bitcoin's going to go to around $1 million. And this was something that we were all very excited about. Then we get JP Morgan's CEO, Jamie Dimon, on the 12th of March saying that well, I don't really like Bitcoin, but suddenly, you know what? If you actually like it, maybe it's not a bad investment after all. And yeah, there's some good news coming for Bitcoin, probably. Maybe it's going to go much higher. Yeah, I'm actually going to be a bit more bullish on it. And now, as the average retail investor, we're licking our lips. Things are looking really good. We've just arrived in crypto because we've been seeing that Bitcoin's above 70K for the first time. We've seen it on BBC. We've seen it on Fox News or whatever else you've been reading the news about, or wherever else you've been accessing the news. And then one of the world's most famous men, Donald Trump, suddenly flips on Bitcoin, saying that Bitcoin actually might be a good investment after all, even though for a long time he said that he had no interest in crypto. It wasn't really something he was interested in. And why on earth is this specific date the day that everyone tells you it's going to $1 million plus? Well, because all of these individuals are involved in a game bigger than we could ever understand. And here we can see around the 12th of March, some of the action taking place. Bitcoin was selling off very aggressively at periods of time, and these were very big sales happening. So why at this time were all these people who we all trust telling us that the Bitcoin price is going higher? Well, because they need to start offloading crypto. And I made a warning video last week telling you to be careful because everyone had flipped ultra bullish on Bitcoin at this period of time. And I even read a message saying it's hard to imagine that Bitcoin could even go lower considering that BlackRock and everyone else is investing so aggressively. This is the biggest first indicator that we need to be aware of. When everyone flips too bullish, we need to be individuals. So that's one big thing we need to be aware of. Take everything we get told with a pinch of salt. And this is why 99% of retail investors lose, because we can't do that. We find it too difficult. The farmer, Cathie Wood, Michael Saylor, Donald Trump maybe, Jamie Dimon, who else? You name it. But people with lots of money and big influence. They know the exact plan for the sheep throughout the year. They know when they're going to bring the sheep in and fleece them. And you've probably thought about that term being like, yeah, getting fleeced. That's an interesting one. Or at the end of their time being turned into lamb chops and sausages, aka the bear market. Now, the dog basically is kind of like in the middle ground. It has an idea about what the farmer wants to do. For certain, always understand the farmer's choices, but has a pretty good idea of what's going on with the sheep and knows how to control the sheep as well, should they want to. And in this story, the dog basically represents the kind of the smarter investor, which hopefully, who understands what the sheep are thinking and has some idea of what the farmer's thinking and understands the overall game of what goes on. The dog does pretty well from this situation because it gets to kind of live with the farmer and enjoy lots of the positives that the farmer has, like maybe some scraps of Sunday lunch and other bits and pieces. And how do I know right now that all the sheep are flooding into the market? Well, because I'm fortunate enough to have a YouTube comment section down below, and also I can read the comments written on other YouTube channels. Now, throughout last year, I was talking about Solana, being like, Solana actually looks pretty good value, around $8.50. But throughout most of the summer, where it's bouncing around there, and people are like, well, it wasn't really the best call you've made, I'm not really sure about that. But, right now, as we look at it, it looks like a pretty damn good call. Pat myself on the back. I've made a fair few good calls. ICP, $3.40. Pangolin, less than 2 cents. Fallon Network, the other day at 16 cents. AIOZ, 15 cents. You get the picture. But from time to time, I make a little mistake. Filecoin, I said $6.90 was a decent price. And from there, it fell approximately 33 to 34%. But weirdly, during this time, I didn't get too much grief from my followers about making a bad call. And that's because most of those people watching throughout that time were in fact the smarter money. And right now, we're getting the retail running into the space. Now, I want you to think about what's going through the sheep's mind at this particular time as it gets shorn. And you're like, well, I can't really think about that because I'm not sheep. Well, let's think about the events that preceded this particular piece of time. The sheep's running around in its field, eating food, getting fat, being like, yeah, the farmer is a bloody good bloke. Comes out, gives me food now and then, makes sure I'm having a good time. Life's pretty good. And then suddenly, he shakes a bucket of food, you run into a barn, and suddenly you run your back, feet in the air, getting well and truly done over. Not like that, okay? Basically just getting shorn. Gross. And the sheep at this point's like, well, I trusted him, you know, he told me all these things, and now look at me. And typically, many of you as retail investors are like this. How do I know? Because I've done it too. And I'm going to teach you why it's so dangerous for you to be like this. The sheep blindly trusted the farmer, finds itself in this situation. Now, we know that actually in this situation, the sheep's then going to run out back into the field and have a good time, or enjoying the nice summer, now with kind of a shorter, more fashionable, stylish look. But eventually there's going to come a time when that sheep's going to go and follow and eat from the bucket and then probably get turned into sausages or worse. At which point the sheep still cries and blames it on someone else. Now, myself, Virtual Bacon, Crypto Banter, Coin Bureau, Lark Davis, you name it. Those crypto influencers out there who've made really good calls and also made some maybe not so good calls. But I guarantee that each of these people, whenever they've made a call, think that what they've told you is good information. But unfortunately, the sheep just hears guaranteed profits, guaranteed gains, and they rush in, blindly buy everything, and then when the price pulls back on them, like it did with Filecoin, 37, 38%, they sell everything and they're like, going and writing angry comments on walls and things like that. I'm still happy that I bought Filecoin around this point, even though it did pull back on me, because I still hold Filecoin right now. And what allowed me to hold through this period of time was the fact that I wasn't a sheep and I knew what Filecoin was, and I knew that it was potentially going to develop from a huge demand coming in for decentralized storage solutions. Now, by no means is this me telling you to buy Filecoin, but it's telling you that if you just sold and panic sold because you didn't know what Filecoin was and it was down 30%, which is exactly what I would do if I didn't know what Filecoin was, and why I will always panic sell meme coins, because I have no idea why many meme coins actually pump, I get burned. So, this is not a video about me being like, stop writing mean comments down below. I actually don't care. Feel free to write mean comments, because the more mean comments you write, the more engagement this video gets, and the more this video gets viewed by everyone else. And ultimately, the better I do. But it's about you taking ownership for your own actions and doing actually your own research. If you're not doing your own research, then you're a sheep and you'll get treated like a sheep and eventually you'll get turned into lamb chops. This is a game with real money. While it's disguised with like pretty colors and nice frog coins and dog coins, you have the ability to potentially ruin your life and the people around you, or potentially make a real difference to your future. But this is a player versus player game. We are all in this in a competition to be able to make money. Therefore, how on earth do you feel that you can compete by just blindly buying into coins and whatever else without doing any research at all and understanding what you're buying into? You're a grown-up. Well, I assume most of you are grown-ups. You've used money that you've gone away and you've had to earn to go and invest in any projects out there. And therefore, it is yours and your responsibility alone to go and make choices based on the information that is given to you by people like me and others out there. Trust no one, including me. Make sure the only person you really can trust in this game is yourself. Because when it's all said and done, if you make money at the end of this market, you're going to pat yourself on the back. But you also need to be prepared to blame yourself if things go wrong. Investment is an adult's game. Behave like an adult and you won't go far wrong. So then ask yourself, how much do you want it? How much is it worth it for you to invest time in the crypto markets and learn some new things that are going to be able to elevate yourself? And if you ever find yourself blaming other people or things that have gone wrong for you, then ask yourself, what did I do wrong in this situation? The more ownership I start to take for things that were going wrong, the better I've done out of this. And obviously, I'm going to try and continue to bring you as much value as possible. And it's been happening for the last year or so, which is why I'm the second fastest, unfortunately not the fastest because of Virtual Bacon, growing channel in the whole crypto YouTube space. And we will be having Virtual Bacon on the show next week to discuss some of the best opportunities going forward in the crypto markets. Now, hopefully that all makes sense to you. Now we've got all that stuff out the way, I want to talk about exchanges. Many of the new people in crypto will be using exchanges like Coinbase. And that's because Coinbase is a very easy to use exchange, but it is incredibly expensive. It can cost up to 10% of your entire trade to change from Bitcoin to USDT or whatever. Therefore, I recommend using a cheaper exchange, such as MEXC, which is linked down below in the description. And if you use that link, you will also qualify for a bonus, where spot trading fees are now at 0.1% and futures trading fees start at 0%. There's also over 4,500 different altcoins available on MEXC. So if you can't find that altcoin you're looking for, then I can almost guarantee you that you can find it on MEXC link down below. Now, depending on where you are in the world, you may not be able to access it. Therefore, make sure you use the NordVPN link down below as well. And that will enable you to change your location to some other country in the world so that you can access different exchanges. Not only that, it's going to protect you by people spying on your wallets and transactions and things like that. You click on that link down below, you get 4 months extra for free. And then after that, it's like €2.90, which I believe is under 3 USD, which is like a price of a cup of coffee per month and is an essential tool for anyone crypto. Now, if you don't want to use MEXC or you don't want to use a VPN, then you can use Bitunix, also linked down below, which is non-KYC, non-VPN, has liquidity provided by Binance, and is the exchange that I use to do my day trading on. I use MEXC for small cap altcoins. I use Bitunix to day trade on. And all you need to do is come down below the video and click on where it says more, and then come down below and you can see that we have the various links here. You've got MEXC where you can click it here, Bingx Exchange, NordVPN, and other bits and pieces. So no need to ask where to find these links. So guys, something slightly different. I hope you enjoyed that video and found it useful. If you did, then hit the like button. Tomorrow we're going to start talking about some new narratives, and we're going to focus more into the GameFi area, which has some huge potential going forward. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.